Today we're discussing a topic that many overlook but is crucial for spiritual awareness: how to recognize demonic influences in those closest to us. While demons do not always appear as terrifying creatures, their presence can manifest through behaviors, thoughts, and even emotions. By being vigilant and spiritually discerning, we can identify when dark forces are at work and protect ourselves and our loved ones. Drastic personality changes can be one of the most alarming signs of demonic influence in a person. When someone close to you suddenly begins acting in a way that is completely out of character, it may not simply be due to stress, mental health struggles, or life circumstances. There could be a deeper, unseen force at work. These changes are often extreme and inexplicable, making the affected person seem like a completely different individual. One of the most common shifts is from kindness and compassion to anger and hostility. A person who was once gentle and patient may suddenly become aggressive, easily irritated, or even violent. They may lash out at loved ones for no apparent reason, speak with cruelty and malice, and seem to derive pleasure from causing pain or discomfort. This is not just an occasional bad mood or a reaction to a difficult situation. It is a profound and ongoing transformation that defies logic. Another sign is an increased attraction to darkness, evil, or things that glorify suffering. A person may begin to express enjoyment of violent or sadistic entertainment, obsess over occult practices, or develop a fascination with death and destruction. They might start wearing dark clothing, speaking in cryptic or unsettling ways, or drawing disturbing images. Their interests and hobbies may take a drastic turn, and they might begin associating with people who encourage destructive behavior. A formerly honest and trustworthy person may suddenly become deceitful and manipulative, lying without remorse and betraying those who love them. They may gaslight others, twisting the truth to serve their own agenda, and seem to have no regard for morality or integrity. Their words and actions may be laced with sarcasm, mockery, and disrespect, making it difficult to engage in meaningful or honest conversations with them. Another notable shift can be in their energy and presence. People under demonic influence sometimes give off a feeling of unease, fear, or oppression to those around them. Friends and family may feel an inexplicable sense of dread or discomfort in their presence, even if they are not acting outwardly hostile. The atmosphere around them may feel heavy, suffocating, or negative, as if they are carrying an unseen darkness that affects everyone nearby. In some cases, the person may become highly secretive and withdrawn, cutting off meaningful relationships and isolating themselves. They might avoid eye contact, refuse to engage in deep conversations, or become defensive and hostile when confronted about their behavior. This withdrawal can be accompanied by strange sleep patterns, exhaustion, or even physical changes such as sunken eyes, pale skin, or an overall appearance of being unwell. The most concerning aspect of these personality changes is that they often happen suddenly with no rational explanation. Unlike normal shifts in mood or personality development, these changes seem unnatural, as if something else has taken hold of the person. They may even acknowledge that they feel different or not themselves, but struggle to explain why. If someone close to you is exhibiting these signs, it is important to stay alert and prayerful. These changes should not be dismissed as mere mood swings or personal struggles. While some cases may have psychological explanations, others may be the result of a deeper spiritual battle. A deep and unusual hatred for spirituality and God can be a significant indicator of demonic influence in a person's life. While it is natural for individuals to have questions, doubts, or even struggles with faith, there is a distinct difference between healthy skepticism and an intense, irrational hostility toward anything related to God, prayer, or religious teachings. This aversion is often sudden and unexplainable, with no logical reason behind the change in attitude. A person who once found comfort in prayer, scripture, or attending religious gatherings may begin to feel an overwhelming sense of disgust or anger toward these things. They might refuse to participate in any spiritual discussions, avoid places of worship, or even lash out at those who express their faith openly. This reaction is often disproportionate, filled with resentment and bitterness that seems to have no clear origin. Even the mention of God's name can provoke a strong emotional response, ranging from irritation and sarcasm to outright rage. One of the most alarming aspects of this change is the way it manifests in their daily interactions. They may start mocking religious beliefs, belittling those who practice faith, or aggressively challenging spiritual principles without any willingness to listen or engage in open dialogue. Their words may carry a venomous quality, as if something inside them is compelled to tear down anything holy. They might ridicule people who pray, dismiss miracles as foolishness, or claim that religion is nothing more than a tool for control. This kind of reaction is often fueled by a deeper, unseen force that despises the presence of God. In some cases, this aversion goes beyond mere words and takes on physical manifestations. A person may become physically uncomfortable in spiritual settings, experiencing nausea, dizziness, headaches, or an overwhelming sense of dread when entering a church or hearing a prayer. Some report feeling a tightness in their chest, an uncontrollable urge to leave, or even an aggressive impulse to disrupt or interfere with worship. These reactions suggest an internal battle, as if something within them is resisting exposure to anything sacred. Another way this hostility appears is through an obsession with opposing God's teachings. A person may suddenly adopt beliefs and lifestyles that directly contradict spiritual values, not out of personal conviction, but seemingly out of defiance. They may take pleasure in mocking religious practices, actively promote sinful behaviors, or even encourage others to turn away from their faith. Their speech and actions may become more blasphemous, showing a deep disrespect for anything sacred. This is not merely a difference of opinion or belief, it is an active, consuming opposition that seems fueled by something beyond personal reasoning. The person may also develop an attraction to things that are anti-God in nature. They might start exploring the occult, engaging in dark spiritual practices, or seeking out sources of knowledge that promote rebellion against divine principles. Books, movies, music, or art that glorify darkness, chaos, and evil may suddenly become their preference, while anything related to faith or righteousness is met with disdain. This shift in interest often coincides with a growing separation from people who hold strong spiritual convictions, as if they no longer feel comfortable in the presence of those who walk in faith. In extreme cases, this hatred for spirituality can lead to violent outbursts or destructive behavior. The person may actively try to harm religious symbols, tear apart sacred texts, or physically attack those who attempt to pray for them. They may feel an unexplainable compulsion to speak against God at every opportunity, as if they are driven by something beyond their own thoughts. This level of hostility is not merely a personal struggle with faith, but a sign that something darker may be influencing their actions. And emotions that self-destructive behaviors are one of the most telling signs of demonic influence in a person's life. When someone begins engaging in actions that bring harm to their body, mind, or spirit without any logical reason, it may indicate that something deeper is at play. These behaviors can range from physical harm to reckless decision-making, addiction, and a growing disregard for their well-being. The goal of demonic influence is to weaken and ultimately destroy a person, leading them further into darkness and despair. One of the most obvious forms of self-destruction is physical harm. A person may begin cutting themselves, burning their skin, or engaging in other forms of self-mutilation. This is often done in secret, with the individual either hiding their wounds or making excuses for their injuries. There may be an unexplained compulsion to inflict pain on themselves, as if something within them is pushing them towards suffering. They may describe feeling numb or empty, using pain as a way to feel something or escape from an overwhelming darkness inside them. These behaviors are often accompanied by deep shame, isolation, and a refusal to seek help. Addiction is another powerful form of self-destruction that is frequently linked to demonic influence. A person may develop a sudden and intense dependence on alcohol, drugs, gambling, or any other substance or activity that slowly consumes their life. What begins as occasional use quickly spirals into an uncontrollable habit, with the individual losing all sense of restraint or responsibility. They may lie, steal, or manipulate others to sustain their addiction, pushing away loved ones who try to help. No matter how much damage is caused, they continue down the same path, as if they are being driven by an unseen force that thrives on their suffering. Another common sign is reckless and dangerous behavior. A person may engage in high-risk activities without any concern for their safety or the consequences of their actions. They might drive at reckless speeds, pick fights with strangers, or deliberately put themselves in dangerous situations. It is as if they have lost their natural instinct for self-preservation, acting as though they have nothing to lose. Some may even express a fascination with death, speaking about it casually or even welcoming the idea of dying. They may claim to have no fear of death, or in extreme cases, express a desire to end their own life. This deep despair and disregard for survival is often a sign of a spiritual attack that seeks to push them toward complete destruction. Another form of self-sabotage is the rejection of help and love from others. A person may begin to push away family and friends, isolating themselves even when they are in desperate need of support. They may lash out in anger, refuse to communicate, or deliberately destroy relationships that once brought them joy and stability. This isolation only deepens their suffering, leaving them more vulnerable to the negative forces that seek to control them. They may express feelings of worthlessness, believing that they do not deserve love, happiness, or redemption. These thoughts can consume them, leading to a downward spiral of depression and hopelessness. Engaging in spiritually destructive behaviors is another way in which demonic influence manifests. A person may turn away from their faith, reject moral values, and seek out experiences that corrupt their soul. They might become obsessed with occult practices, dark rituals, or supernatural forces that promise power and knowledge. What starts as curiosity can quickly become an addiction, pulling them deeper into darkness. They may participate in activities that open doors to negative spiritual influences, such as invoking spirits, using divination tools, or engaging in acts that mock or defile religious beliefs. Over time, these actions can lead to an even greater loss of control, making it difficult for them to break free from the darkness that surrounds them. In many cases, the person is aware that their actions are harmful but feels powerless to stop. They may describe feeling like something else is controlling them, pushing them toward destruction despite their own desires. Their behavior may seem erratic, unpredictable, or even out of character, as if they are being influenced by a force beyond their understanding. Even when confronted by loved ones, they may react with hostility, denial, or indifference, refusing to acknowledge the damage being done to themselves and those around them. Unexplained supernatural experiences are among the most unsettling indicators of demonic influence in a person's life. These experiences can range from subtle, eerie occurrences to terrifying, undeniable manifestations of a dark presence. They often happen unexpectedly, leaving the person confused, afraid, and uncertain about what they are dealing with. Unlike ordinary coincidences or tricks of the mind, these events carry an oppressive, disturbing quality that lingers even after they are over. They may start off small, such as a person feeling watched when they are alone, hearing faint whispers in an empty room, or noticing shadows moving in their peripheral vision. Over time, these occurrences can escalate, becoming more direct and intense. A person may begin to hear voices that no one else can hear. These voices can be soft murmurs or clear, distinct words spoken directly to them. At first, they might sound like their own thoughts, but over time they take on a separate identity, urging them to act in ways that are harmful or irrational. The voices may whisper threats, mock them, or tell them disturbing things that create fear and anxiety. In some cases, they might even pretend to be familiar voices, imitating loved ones or deceased relatives in an attempt to manipulate and deceive. The messages are rarely positive or uplifting. Instead, they instill doubt, despair, and confusion. Some people experience terrifying nightmares that feel more like real encounters than ordinary dreams. These dreams may involve being chased, attacked, or tormented by dark figures, shadowy entities, or demonic creatures. Unlike typical nightmares, these dreams often have a lingering effect, leaving the person drained, fearful, and deeply disturbed even after waking up. They may wake up feeling physically exhausted, as if they were fighting something in their sleep. In more extreme cases, they might experience sleep paralysis, where they wake up unable to move while sensing a sinister presence pressing down on them or whispering in their ear. These experiences can leave a person too afraid to sleep, making them vulnerable to even more psychological and spiritual distress. Objects around them may begin to move on their own. Doors might open or close without explanation. Lights flicker or turn on and off, and electronics may malfunction in strange ways. Some have reported hearing knocks on walls, footsteps in empty rooms, or objects being thrown or broken without anyone touching them. These disturbances often seem to target the person specifically, as if something is trying to intimidate or communicate with them. Animals in the home may react strangely, barking or growling at unseen entities, acting fearful for no apparent reason, or avoiding certain areas of the house. The atmosphere in the home may feel heavy or oppressive, making it difficult to feel at peace. Some people report feeling physical sensations that have no logical explanation. They may feel sudden chills, an overwhelming sense of dread, or an unseen force touching them. Some describe the sensation of being grabbed, scratched, or pushed when no one is around. In extreme cases, physical marks such as bruises, scratches, or burns appear on their body without any recollection of how they got there. These attacks often happen at night during moments of prayer, or when the person tries to resist the influence affecting them. The intention behind these physical manifestations is often to instill fear, weaken faith, and make the person feel powerless. Another strange occurrence is the sudden, intense aversion to sacred objects and prayers. A person may feel uncomfortable or even physically ill when near religious symbols such as crosses, Bibles, or blessed items. They may be unable to say prayers without stuttering, choking up, or feeling an invisible resistance stopping them. Some have reported that prayers, religious music, or scripture readings provoke an intense emotional or physical reaction, including nausea, dizziness, or uncontrollable anger. This reaction is not a normal dislike or discomfort, but something much deeper, as if an unseen force within them is actively resisting anything holy. The most frightening experiences involve full apparitions or direct confrontations with an unseen entity. Some people report seeing dark shadows standing at the foot of their bed, lurking in corners or moving toward them. These figures are often described as having glowing eyes, distorted faces, or no discernible features at all. Others describe waking up to find themselves being choked, held down, or hearing their name being whispered in a voice that is not human. These experiences leave a deep emotional and psychological impact, making the person feel vulnerable and unsafe even in their own home. Many who go through such encounters are left feeling drained, depressed, or mentally unstable, as if something is trying to wear them down over time. Some people try to dismiss these occurrences as hallucinations, overactive imagination, or coincidences, but those who experience them firsthand know how real and terrifying they can be. These events often happen repeatedly, growing stronger the more they are ignored or denied. A person may notice that these experiences worsen when they engage in certain activities, such as dabbling in occult practices, using spirit boards, or surrounding themselves with negative influences. In many cases, these manifestations serve as warnings or signs that a person is under spiritual attack, making it crucial to recognize them for what they are. Uncontrollable fits of rage or fear are often clear signs that something beyond normal human emotion is at work. While anger and fear are natural emotions, there is a stark difference between ordinary reactions and extreme, irrational outbursts that seem to take control of a person. These emotional explosions often appear without warning, with little to no provocation, and can escalate to dangerous levels in a matter of seconds. The individual may seem completely different during these episodes, almost as if they are being controlled by an unseen force that thrives on chaos, aggression, and intimidation. Rage manifests in ways that go far beyond simple frustration or irritation. A person may suddenly lash out with extreme hostility, screaming, cursing, or even becoming physically violent. The intensity of their anger is disproportionate to the situation, as if something within them is fueling it beyond their control. They might break objects, throw things across the room, punch walls, or attack people who try to calm them down. Their eyes may appear different, their voice may change in tone or depth, and their entire demeanor may shift into something unsettling and aggressive. Those around them often describe feeling an overwhelming sense of fear, as if they are in the presence of something much darker than mere human emotion. These fits of rage may be directed towards specific people, particularly those who are strong in faith or who try to offer spiritual help. A person under this influence may become unusually hostile toward religious figures, family members who pray, or friends who attempt to speak words of encouragement and healing. They may react violently when confronted about their behavior, refusing to take responsibility and blaming others for their actions. In some cases, they may even laugh or mock after an outburst, showing no remorse or regret for the harm they caused. The anger appears to come from a deep, unexplainable source, one that defies normal psychological explanations. Fear is another powerful emotion that can signal demonic influence. A person may experience sudden and intense panic attacks, trembling, or an overwhelming sense of dread that paralyzes them. Unlike normal fear, which is tied to real dangers, this type of fear is irrational and consuming, striking at any moment without a clear reason. They may feel as though something unseen is watching them, lurking in the shadows, or waiting to harm them. This fear can be so intense that it prevents them from sleeping, leaving their home, or even functioning in daily life. No amount of reassurance or logical reasoning seems to help, as the fear grips them in a way that defies explanation. Some people experience terrifying night terrors in which they wake up screaming, sweating, or gasping for air. They may describe seeing dark figures in their room, feeling an invisible force pressing down on them, or hearing whispers that instill terror in their minds. Unlike regular nightmares, these episodes leave a lasting effect, making the person afraid to sleep or be alone at night. The fear feels deeply personal, as if something is deliberately trying to torment and weaken them over time. These episodes often become more frequent when the person is in a place of spiritual conflict, resisting certain temptations or attempting to turn toward a more righteous path. Another sign is an extreme reaction to religious symbols, prayers, or anything holy. A person who is under a spiritual attack may have an unexplainable aversion to crosses, Bibles, or even simple blessings. If someone tries to pray for them, they may react with anger, screaming, or even physical pain, as if something inside them cannot tolerate the presence of holiness. Their expressions may twist in discomfort, and they may suddenly feel ill, nauseated, or dizzy when exposed to spiritual practices. These reactions are often intense and immediate, occurring even when they previously had no issues with religion or prayer. There are also moments when a person may express deep, uncontrollable sorrow, falling into despair and hopelessness without any clear reason. They may cry uncontrollably, say they feel lost or empty, or speak as though they have no purpose in life. This overwhelming sadness is not the same as normal grief or depression. It carries an oppressive weight, as if something is actively feeding them thoughts of despair. They may feel as though they are unworthy of love, forgiveness, or salvation, as if something is whispering lies directly into their mind, convincing them that they are beyond help. People close to them may notice that their energy and presence change during these emotional outbursts. The room may feel heavy, the atmosphere may shift, and others may experience feelings of unease or even fear in their presence. It is as if a dark cloud has entered the space, influencing not only the affected individual, but everyone around them. Those who try to intervene often feel drained, attacked, or spiritually disturbed after witnessing these episodes. It becomes clear that the rage and fear consuming the person are not entirely their own, but rather symptoms of a much deeper, unseen battle taking place within them. A sudden obsession with darkness and evil is one of the most telling signs of demonic influence in a person's life. This shift does not happen overnight, but it gradually takes hold, altering their thoughts, behaviors, and interests in ways that become more pronounced over time. They may develop an unusual fascination with death, destruction, and the macabre, finding beauty in things that most people consider disturbing or unsettling. Their interests and hobbies may take a dark turn, leading them to seek out content, activities, or environments that glorify evil, violence, and suffering. This change is often accompanied by a growing disconnection from positivity, hope, and anything that brings light into their life. The type of media they consume can be an early indicator of this transformation. They may begin watching movies or reading books that focus heavily on horror, violence, and demonic themes. What once frightened or disturbed them now becomes a source of entertainment or even comfort. They may become obsessed with music that carries dark, aggressive, or openly blasphemous messages, listening to lyrics that promote despair, hatred, or rebellion against all that is good. Over time, this content begins to shape their thoughts and attitudes, making them more desensitized to things that should naturally provoke concern or caution. Their appearance and personal style may also reflect this inner shift. They might start wearing clothing or symbols that represent death, the occult, or demonic entities. While personal fashion choices can be a form of self-expression, an extreme fixation on dark imagery can sometimes indicate a deeper attraction to the forces those symbols represent. Some people take this a step further by tattooing or engraving symbols on their bodies that hold spiritual significance, often without fully understanding what they are inviting into their lives. They may surround themselves with objects, artwork, or decorations that depict sinister themes, filling their environment with an energy that feels oppressive or unsettling to those around them. A person under this influence may also start showing an unusual curiosity about the occult, supernatural practices or rituals that align with darkness. They may become drawn to witchcraft, tarot reading, spirit summoning, or any form of divination that seeks power from unknown forces. What may begin as innocent curiosity can quickly turn into an obsession, with the person actively seeking out ways to engage with hidden, forbidden knowledge. They may disregard any warnings about the dangers of these practices, insisting that they are harmless or even beneficial, despite growing signs that their involvement is affecting them negatively. Their personality and behavior may become noticeably darker as well. They may develop a cruel or sadistic sense of humor, finding joy in the suffering of others or showing little to no empathy for people in pain. What once made them feel sympathy or sadness may now amuse them, as if they have lost the ability to connect with the emotions of others. They might start engaging in reckless or harmful activities without caring about the consequences, showing an increasing disregard for their own well-being and the well-being of those around them. This lack of empathy can make their presence feel cold, unwelcoming, or even threatening, as if they have become disconnected from the warmth of human connection. Another troubling sign is a growing hostility toward anything good, pure, or uplifting. They may mock expressions of love, kindness, or faith, treating these things as weak or foolish. They may go out of their way to destroy moments of joy, disrupting happy occasions or belittling those who find hope in difficult times. Their words and actions may carry a heaviness, as if they are constantly seeking to drag themselves and others into a darker state of mind. They may reject anything that brings peace, actively choosing conflict, chaos, and negativity instead. They may also become increasingly drawn to violence, whether through their words, actions, or fantasies. They might speak more often about death, destruction, or harming others, sometimes in a way that seems like a joke, but carries an unsettling edge of truth. Their temper may grow shorter, and they might react aggressively to even minor inconveniences. They may idolize historical figures or fictional characters known for their cruelty, seeing them as powerful or admirable rather than dangerous and evil. This fascination with destruction can sometimes escalate into actual violent behavior, whether toward themselves, animals, or people around them. Spending time with them may start to feel draining or disturbing, as if their presence carries a weight that is hard to shake. Those around them may notice that their energy has changed, becoming more oppressive, unsettling, or even frightening. Some people report feeling uneasy, anxious, or physically ill in their presence, as if an unseen force is affecting the atmosphere around them. Their words may feel charged with a strange intensity, and their eyes may hold a look that seems unfamiliar or devoid of warmth. It is as if something within them has shifted, aligning them more with darkness than with the person they once were. These changes rarely go unnoticed by friends and family, but confronting the person about their transformation is often met with defensiveness, anger, or outright denial. They may insist that nothing is wrong, dismissing concerns as overreactions or misunderstandings. In some cases, they may even take pride in their new identity, embracing the darkness as a source of strength or uniqueness. They may laugh at the idea that anything supernatural is influencing them, refusing to acknowledge the possibility that their obsession with darkness is leading them down a dangerous path. But for those who see the change, the signs are undeniable, and the feeling that something is deeply wrong only grows stronger within.